All right. I know it's late. Let's wait a few minutes. No, I gotta wait for people to actually get in. Oh, for the cups? Yeah. I'm gonna run my ad tonight, but usually I only get like 20, 30 viewers. So technically. Oh yeah, no. Tomorrow and like this weekend are gonna be like how many millions of people are gonna buy sumo cups. There you go, Mississippi Cajun. First one in, first one down. I can brush your hair. We'll be starting the sumo stream proper in just in a couple of minutes. We just got out of the shower. We just got home from D&D. Party is midway through a fight with a white dragon, and they dealt 300 damage in one round. And by they, I mean one guy dealt 300 damage in one round. So, crit baby. Got a keen falchion. It's no icy. No, I meant. Oh. And I, but unless you want it. I don't wear it that often because the strap doesn't. That back so. Oh, dude, I did nothing for. Oh. Oh, I just. I mean, I did. I did. Waters and that's it. I did. Oh, I forgot to mark. I did the water slash brush teeth. Mark off. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't do it. Got home and yeah, for like. Oh, yeah. My brain. Yeah. Alright, we'll just give it a few more minutes for people to get in here. Thank you for the hype train over on the Twitch side. Aloha. The Ali Panini. No, I. Listen, I only watch Lilo and Stitch like once a year. Yeah, he's not like me who watches it every. Cool. I did. I finished. Let me go get a drink. I'll be right back. Then we will start proper while you guys read this terribly translated article about Daishoho retiring. Alrighty. So, there is some good news. But there's a lot of bad news. There's a lot of bad news. Thank you, Circumzenithal, for your subscription as well. We'll start with the good news. The good news is Aonishiki is on track to be the fastest from the bottom of the Banzuke to Yokozuna status, and it looks like the path is opening up for him. I saw bad reports about Onosato. I saw bad reports about Hoshoryu. And, well, Kotozakura has been Kotozakura, so it looks like nobody is going to be standing in his way. That's the good news. The bad news. Daishoho retires. Daishoho. You can look him up on the Banzuke over here. But Daishoho, he was Sandanme 16 when he finally decided to hang it up. Started his career back in 2013. Made it to Judio in 3 years. That's pretty good. You know, that's pretty good. That's pretty average. Fell back out, got back in, and he was a top division guy for a little bit. But overall, you know, a middling career, most of his career in Judio. You could see here only 9 tournaments as Makuchi, 31 as Judio, but 40 tournaments as a Sekitori. Daishoho at 31 years old, he's only a month and a half older than I am, decides to hang up the belt and is going to be, I'm not sure what he's going to be doing afterwards. This is a poorly translated article because it's done by Google Translate, but not sure what his future is going to be, but I assume he's going to stay in sumo. Let's see. And we have more bad news. Enho revealed to the press that he had broken his ankle in that 6th match going into the end of the previous tournament. So that is why he did not win the Yusho. And honestly, that is very worrying for this upcoming tournament. If he doesn't perform, can't perform, gets a losing record, he's going to miss out on yet another chance to return to Judio. And if a broken foot is the reason, that just really sucks, you know? More bad news. For 90 years, Kasugano stable has had a Sekitori, but now that Tochi Taikai has dropped to Makushita, that streak has been broken. So there's no more Sekitori in the top division, in the Judio division, for Kasugano stable for the first time in almost 100 years. More bad news. Shiden decides to retire. After a short stint in Judio, and for those that aren't familiar because they don't watch Judio or they don't really care about Judio, Shiden was a long-time 3rd division man. His name was Shiba, then turned to Shiden when he made his debut back in January 2022. But in that debut, he was suspended for that tournament because there was a controversy. He was the Tsukebito to Hide no Umi at the time, Hide no Umi being Tobizaru's brother. Hide no Umi was caught illegally gambling. It was a small sum of money, but because his Tsukebito was with him, aka Shiba, aka Shiden at the time, they were both suspended for one tournament. The funny thing about it, too, is this controversy happened before the Banzuke announcement. So, the funny thing about the Banzuke is when you are 3rd division or below, when you're not a Sekitori, you're not like a salaried sumo wrestler. You are not like technically a part of the company. So when anything happens surrounding you, about you, then they keep it on the down low. They keep your name anonymous. And it's kind of like, you know, how when in the press, if a minor were to commit a crime, they won't release that minor's name. It's pretty similar to that in that, like, you know, they'll be protected, but obviously you can catch the implications and you can know, like, who was with him at the time. So it was like, oh, Hide no Umi and his Tsukebito, who will go unnamed, who we know who his Tsukebito is, will be suspended for one tournament. And unfortunately, his debut was delayed for about another year until he finally made it back into Judio. He was a Judio mainstay for the past 2-ish years, came really close to debuting in the top that Judio 2 tournament just a year-ish ago, but unfortunately got injured. Judio 14, you could see his last leg right there, 1-6 at the previous tournament, decides to hang it up. Shiden, 34 years old, born on Christmas Eve 1991. That's a hell of a birthday. But unfortunately, he is also hanging up the belt. Let's see. Which article is this? This is neutral news. This is not good or bad news, depending on who your favorites are. But from Italian Ozeki, this is a small article about Aonishiki, Fujinokawa, and Asanoyama. Ozeki Aonishiki, the 21-year-old sensation from Ukraine, is dominant as he aims for Yokozuna promotion. During a training session, he went undefeated in 7 bouts against Kirishima and Wakamoto Haru. After winning 2 consecutive championships from his Sekiwake debut to his Ozeki debut, a feat not seen in 89 years, he now stands on the cusp of history. If he earns promotion this Basho, he will only be the 3rd person since the Showa era to reach the highest rank within 2 tournaments of becoming Ozeki. Additionally, rising star Fujinokawa, who I have his fan towel right now behind me on my chair. Fujinokawa joined a training session at Nishonoseki Stable to prepare for the upcoming Spring Basho, where he challenged the Yokozuna Onosato. He won 2 out of 10 matches, but he won 2 matches against the Yokozuna. He has a 20% chance coming into this week, and I'll take those odds. After training with former sumo school classmate for the first time in years, Fujinokawa expressed his determination to cause a whirlwind in his first tournament, facing the top-ranked wrestlers, the Sekitori. On top of that, veteran Maegashira Asanoyama is gearing up for his second tournament back in the top division following a major left knee injury. Despite some lingering pain that prevented him from sparring with Yokozuna Hoshoryu, he has been putting in intense work, including training sessions with Kotozakura. As the eldest among the Sekitori in his stable, Asanoyama was the first to start practice, having publicly declared his goal to aim for the championship at the recent supporters party, which I feel like is, everyone is going to say, yeah, I'm going for the goal. I'm going for the cup. Everyone's going to say that. And thank you for Yokozuna membership, CJ Duncan. Thank you so much for that. Very much appreciate it. Some just reports right there from Italian Ozeki before we get into more bad news. More bad news. This is a longer article. But basically, the report is that Teruno Fuji reported himself for violence against Hakuno Fuji. At the same time, Hakuno Fuji was suffering from injuries, which is why he performed poorly at the last tournament. And the rumor has it that the reason why Teruno Fuji struck Hakuno Fuji was because Hakuno Fuji was drunk and was harassing other people. That is just a rumor. I don't know any of the specifics, but we can read through this article here. They do go harken back to Haruma Fuji's fall, which is a little strange to me. But on the 24th of February, Isagahama Oyakata entered the Ryogoku Kokugikan alongside Hakuno Fuji, although they should have been in Osaka for the tournament. A source revealed Isagahama Oyakata was questioned because he used violence against Hakuno Fuji. Nishiki Fuji, who is familiar with the situation, also accompanied them for questioning. It is expected that the compliance committee will draft a disciplinary proposal and report it to the association. While Isagahama Oyakata is currently supervising training at stable in Osaka, sources say Hakuno Fuji has not been participating in practice due to the injuries I mentioned earlier, probably. Specific details and circumstances will be clarified through the association's investigation. It has already been revealed that the stable held a meeting with the wrestlers where the act of violence against Hakuno Fuji was reported. Isagahama Oyakata reportedly expressed remorse, stating the responsibility lies with me. Although he reported the incident to the association himself, some wrestlers are said to be feeling anxious about the future. Especially with, and this is me adding my own opinion, especially with, what happened to Miyagino Oyakata Hakuho, where violence was going unreported for a long time. This is quite the contrast in situations, especially if the rumors hold up to be true. And apparently, a lot of people, a lot of fans, I haven't seen it myself personally, but from what other people have been saying, a lot of fans are saying, well, why don't they kick him out like they did to Hakuho, when the situations are two completely different things? So the resolutions are going to be two completely different things, So in recent years, the association has imposed severe punishments for acts of violence, particularly by Sekitori. Isagahama Oyakata reported the violence himself. It remains unclear how this self-reporting will affect the discipline, as there is no recent precedent for such a case. Incident occurred before the move to Osaka during a drinking session involving supporters. Isagahama Oyakata reportedly became enraged at Hakuno Fuji over a topic unrelated to sumo. According to reports, he brandished a sake bottle at Hakuno Fuji. So, one report says that he hit him with a sake bottle. Another report I saw said he punched him. And, again, tabloids say that Hakuno Fuji was harassing someone else, which is why Teruno Fuji punched him. So, at the moment, there's a lot of hearsay. Let's reserve judgments for now. And when the judgment comes out, we'll support whatever is discovered. Thank you, Prospector, for your Prime subscription. And yeah, the fact that he reported himself probably helps the case as well. It shows he feels remorse for his actions. Yeah, it's like, it's not the same, but similarly, when Ryuden and Asanoyama were both caught going out during COVID-restricted times, Ryuden owned up to it, he was suspended for 6 months, and then he came back. Asanoyama, on the other hand, he lied about it. He tried to organize with a journalist about the lie to try to clear his name. And then eventually it was like, yeah, I was lying. I'm sorry. And he was suspended for a whole year. So, it's like a child coming to you like, I accidentally broke something. Like, you punish them for breaking it, but you also give them a bit of leniency for telling the truth. It's a little different when they're adults like this and when it's about violence. But, the same concepts still apply. Like, he reported himself for the violence that took place. And again, we don't know all the details about why the violence took place. If it was because Hakuno Fuji was unruly and he was trying to control him, that's one thing. If it was just a random act of violence against Hakuno Fuji for seemingly no reason, then that's another thing. But the fact that he's holding himself accountable, I think, will go in his favor, especially after witnessing firsthand what happened to Miyagino Oyakata. And then, let's see, after this is more bad news. Lots of bad news coming into this tournament. Hakuno Fuji will participate, despite his, I believe it is a knee ligament injury, but Midori Fuji will be absent due to heart problems. Midori Fuji is absent for the tournament. It says due to heart failure. That's probably like a gross mistranslation. I don't know if there's any other words in Japanese for failure, but I imagine it's probably for, I don't know, it could be like arrhythmia, it could be a really severe heartburn, could be just random chest pains, because for English speakers, heart failure means death. Like, he is dead. If your heart fails, you are 6 feet in the ground. So the fact that Midori Fuji does not have a eulogy written about him means he's still alive, and I believe his heart hasn't completely failed. So don't know exactly what's wrong with his heart, but he won't be participating. And again, just reiterating that there's a scandal featuring Hakuno Fuji. His knee or his lower leg is hurt. So, you heard it's life-threatening. Again, this is the only source I have, so if there are any other sources explaining it further, feel free to share in my Discord. Feel free to elaborate on it in the chat. But, apparently it is a serious heart illness. And that is it for all the bad news that I currently have. Let's go to the Banzuke game over here. Oh, I already had it open. Whoops. And with all of that sumo news covered in the 15-20 minutes, let us go into more fun things where we're going to talk about Guess the Banzuke. I know I did a stupid risky maneuver in putting not Atami Fuji at Komusubi with his 12-win record, but I decided to take the gamble, and honestly, whether I took the gamble or not, I was going to be stuck in this middle of the pack anyway. 7-8 is probably one of my best performances in the past year. I had, 49 points? And if I switched it around the way it should have been, I would have had 51, 52. If I had 52, I would have been 9-6. And, that's how close this thing was. But when you have almost 400 people playing this game, and I rank, 298 with a mid score, tied for, let's go all the way up, tied for 234th out of 400 people. That's not terrible. But, I'm not very good at guessing the Banzuke. We already know this. And you can kind of see by how much green I have and by how much absolute red I have. So one of the things coming into this Banzuke was I thought they're going to go easy on Oho. They're going to go easy on Ichiyamamoto. They're going to go easy on Uda. And they're going to go easy on Takanosho. They went easy on Oho. They went easy on Takanosho. But not as easy as I thought. I had him falling to Maegashira 6. They put him at Maegashira 4, of all places. I had Uda falling to Maegashira 5. They put him at Maegashira 8. They really wanted Uda out of that top. Ichiyamamoto down to Maegashira 6. I had him at Maegashira 4. So, just mispredicting those guys near the top. These three big losers really screwed up a lot of the middle of the Banzuke. And of course, like I said, missing out on points between Atami Fuji and Wakataka Kage. Even then I had Yoshino Fuji off by a half of a point. But I did get a lot of things right, and a lot of things I got a little wrong. Tamawashi I had falling to Maegashira 8. He actually fell to Maegashira 9. Shodai I had falling to Maegashira 9. He actually fell to Maegashira 8. Where was Shodai actually? Maegashira 9. He was a 7-8 from Maegashira 8 East, falling to 8 West. I was a little harsh on him, and I was a little too easy on Tamawashi. They were a bit harsher on Tamawashi. So that's one of those things where it's kind of a coin flip. You're kind of splitting hairs. If you really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of Shodai or Tamawashi, then you're spending too much time on it, I think. That's one of the reasons why I'm not winning Guess the Banzuke anytime soon. But you can see right here in the middle, Gonoyama, Roga, Shishi, Osho Umi, Asakori, Asanoyama. But I never would have guessed Fuji Seiyun up to Maegashira 13. They're usually never that nice to someone in Judio. An 11-4 from Judio 1, I put him at Maegashira 16. I thought, they're not going to put him that far up. Because we've seen similar things. We saw, Asanoyama not even that long ago. If I want to go and click on his name. Asanoyama, he had a really strong tournament from Judio. 12-3 from Judio 4, Maegashira 16. And I believe even before that, 13-2 from Judio 1, Maegashira 14. A 13-2 from Judio 1 put Asanoyama at Maegashira 14. An 11-4 from Judio 1 put Fuji Seiyun at Maegashira 13. That's crazy. That's insane. The other thing, too, was they had Ryuden. I had Ryuden survive and Fujiryoga get blocked out, but they actually bumped down Ryuden, and Fujiryoga moved up Maegashira 17. Above Koto Eho. So, that was another slightly surprising move there, but I like Fujiryoga. I want to see more from him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the top division, I am very much looking forward to it. So overall, my Guess the Banzuke, I got a couple points wrong on purpose. A couple things were completely off in the middle here because I just under-demoted some of these 4 and 11s. We'll try to keep track of that in the future, but who knows? Banzuke is a living thing. Maybe next tournament, Wakataka Kage goes 4-11 and drops to Maegashira 2. You know? You never know. So we'll keep an eye out for those types of things as we head into the next section here, the section that takes the longest, the section that is the most fun, and the one that everybody wants to know about. Kachi-clash. Let me take a sip. Kachi-clash. So as we get into who am I going to pick for Kachi-clash, I'm going to run a commercial real quick. A new commercial for those on Twitch. But for those of you over here on the YouTube side, we have some new merchandise available for you guys. If you haven't seen my video already, we have sumo cups available now. Not handmade. Cups themselves are not handmade. We buy them from a factory, but we put the designs on them. But they are handmade designs by my beautiful and loving wife, Princess Arden. She has created some brand new designs for some 16-ounce stainless steel cups that come with steel straws and little pipe cleaners for your straws. Perfect for your coffee. Perfect for your tea that you get from the Path of Cha. Perfect for your energy drinks that you get from Rogue Energy, which all of those you can find in the description down below. But we have a lot of designs out already. Tochinoshin, Aonishiki, Ura, Chiyoshoma, just to name a few. And you can request any sumo wrestler you like as long as they have been a Sekitori in the past, because Princess is basing the design off of their Kesho Mawashis. So if you're interested in buying a sumo cup, be sure to follow the link. I did not put up a sale yet, but tomorrow, starting tomorrow, I will have a 15 or 10% off. I haven't decided yet, but there will be sale starting at the start of the Basho. Oh, if you make an Enho cup, will it be half size? That's a good question, but no, Enho is as big of a sumo soul as anyone else. You will have a full-sized cup. Let me just do something really quick over on the Twitch side. As we come back, W advertising, thank you. But yes, we will have a sale code up tomorrow. I didn't decide it because I wrote that script like a week ago and made the video a week ago. But very likely it will be Haru Basho for either 10 or 15% off of your order. Because, you know, I got to keep my profit margins high. That's how we're making money. But, yeah, be sure to buy yourself a sumo cup if you are interested. Which Rikshi is the top seller so far. It's a tie between Aonishiki and Ura. The most interesting request we've had so far has been Tochinoshin, and another one being Chiyoshoma. But we have had, I already have her making designs for Takayasu, Tamawashi, Enho. So that way we're ready in case anybody requests anyone like that. So, getting into Kachi-clash. Take another sip of my drink. Here at Komusubi, I remember when I was an Ozeki. Where am I at now? Oh my god. Look at this meteoric fall. Ozeki 1 East in January 2025. Maegashira 1, Maegashira 7, Maegashira 10, 17, 17, Juryo 11. Oh my god. What a fall. Hey, Fujinokawa's been solid for me. 10-5, 9-6. Takanosho very hit or miss with that 12-3. Ay, ay, ay. Let me just plug my phone in real quick. I will be removing a couple of idle people from my my stables to make room But let's see. I'm going to start from the bottom because we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the guys up top. I'm going to start from the bottom. And you know who I'm picking at the bottom? I'm picking my boy Tobizaru. But honestly, Tobizaru, he hasn't been performing that well recently. 6'9", 7'8" from Maegashira 9, Maegashira 13. Honestly, I don't recommend picking him because there are some very exciting people down here that you might want to look into. Shishi, Oshoumi, Asakoryu, Asanoyama, Tobizaru, Fuji Seiyun, Chiyoshoma, Nishiki Fuji, Midori Fuji, who is absent. Don't pick Midori Fuji. He is out this tournament. Mitakeyumi, Asahakuryu, Kin Bozan, Fuji Ryoga, and Koto Eiho. Now, I'll start with, because this is a big section, I'm going to run through it a little bit quicker. I'll start with who I will avoid in this section. I would avoid, obviously, Midori Fuji. Mitakeyumi, he's very wishy-washy, 50-50. I don't think he's going to do well this tournament. I would also avoid Kin Bozan. He has not been doing well recently either. And I would also avoid these two debutantes, Fuji Ryoga and Fuji Seiyun. Fuji Seiyun, he is finally cracking into this top division. It's been a while. He's looked ready and primed for it. But, injury back in 2023, taking him out for a little while, coming back very quickly, mind you, coming back. And then sticking around in Judo for a while. Recipe for disaster. He's already 28 years old. I don't think the speed and the power of the top division he's going to really be able to keep up with. Fuji Ryoga, on the other hand, is much younger, but much more inexperienced. He had that 13-2 Yusho from Judo 13, and in an anti-Kusano-esque way, kind of settled down at the top of Judo with that 9-6. Again, the speed and the power of a lot of these other guys in the top division, I don't think Fuji Ryoga is going to be able to keep up with him. Koto Eiho might be another one to avoid. His technique is fun, but he is not that strong. Last time he was up here, he went 6-9. He's been, good enough at the top of Judo, but the top of Judo and the bottom of Makuuchi are two entirely different beasts. I don't believe Koto Eiho will have a good time either. So, who does that leave us with? Asahakuryu flew up the Banzuke. He is all in the same situation kind of as Fuji Ryoga, where he settled down after a strong 13-2 Yusho. 10-5 is not as weak as a 9-6, but then 8-7 in his debut, he was able to keep up. Maybe another 8-7 he could do it, but I'm a little skeptical. I don't think he's the best choice. He's not a bad choice, but I don't think he'll be the best choice. When it comes to the best choices, your obvious answers are going to be Shishi, they're going to be Asanoyama, Oshoumi, and a dark horse is going to be Chiyoshoma. Now, Shishi's been wild in this bottom of the Banzuke. 9-6, 4-11, 10-5, 6-9, 9-6. He's back at his career high of Maegashira 11. The stars do say that he should start to fizzle out, but he looked very strong the last tournament. Like, he was 9-3 and lost against guys he should lose to. He, lost to Kirishima, of course. Lost to Yoshino Fuji, of course. Lost to Daieisho, of course. He would lose those, He does have that one win against Daieisho, but he was outmatched in these last three matches, despite the fact that I feel like he shouldn't have been in the Yusho race anyway. 9-3 going into day 13. Recently, the past 5 years, that is Yusho race worthy. And that's because, the Yokozuna, they haven't been disappointing, but they have been dropping those early matches. And when they drop those early matches, that means those guys down in lower Maegashira are forced to compete against the best of the best to see whether or not they stay in the Yusho race. So, In a roundabout way, Shishi fighting Kirishima is Onosato's fault. It's whole Shoryu's fault. Like, Shishi should not be fighting Kirishima because whole Shoryu and Onosato should be 10-0, should be 11-0, should be 12-0. And if they're 12-0, then Shishi's not fighting the Sekiwake because they don't need to knock him out of the Yusho race. So if Shishi doesn't fight the Sekiwake, doesn't fight the Maegashira 1, he probably finishes this tournament 11-4, 10-5. He is going to be fighting a lot of the same people. He's not going to be the number 1 pick, not the most popular pick, but he should be a consideration. I feel like he'll break through this ceiling. Maegashira 11 East. He might break through this ceiling. Asanoyama is the clear, far and away favorite here. He did only go 9-6 at the last tournament, which, in a similar vein, he shouldn't fight the Sekiwake. But in this case, he was a former Ozeki. He should be able to defeat the Sekiwake. Former Ozeki should be able to defeat a Komusubi. Former Sekiwake should be able, or a former Ozeki should be able to defeat former Ozeki Shodai, but he just fizzled out these last 3 days. Asanoyama, even losing at day 1 and day 6, finished out the tournament relatively weak, but I feel like he should have another strong showing here. Oshoumi. Now, he only made his debut back in November, but a 10-5 from the previous tournament, that's fantastic when it comes to momentum. 10-5, winning against Asanoyama, winning against difficult opponents like Ryuden, like Shishi, Mitake Umi, former Ozeki. He did drop matches against Tobizaru and Abi, but difficult match against Hirado Umi. He won that. He's 2-0 against Hirado Umi. Osho Umi, I feel like he's coming into his own a little bit. He's getting stronger, getting more stable. 24 years old, still young, still a lot to learn. I feel like he could make a jump up the Banzuke here. And then, of course, Chiyoshoma, old workhorse, 34 years old. You can never really count him out because he is that trickery. He has that specialization in henkas. He hasn't been very good lately, falling down from Maegashira 2, despite the fact that he had a Kinboshi from there. But we know that he's the gatekeeper. We know that he's much more comfortable in these lower ranks. And even going back 2 years when he was a bit stronger, 8-7, 6-9, 3-12 to fall down to Judio. He's older, he's not as fast, he's not as strong, he's not Tamawashi. So, Maegashira 14 right now, it's kind of a coin flip, but I think he still has some in the tank. He wouldn't be a bad pick here, Chiyoshoma. I already explained to Tobizaru, I don't think he's going to be the best pick right now. He's just looking weak, he's looking slow, he's looking like he's hurt. Tobizaru is not going to be the best pick, but he's still my favorite guy. But he's quickly being displaced by Maegashira 2 that I'll talk about later. And Koto Shoho, the mid-ranks are lacking. Yeah, we're going to get into the mid-ranks right now. So, I'm choosing Tobizaru. I think the best picks are probably going to be Shishi or Asanoyama. If you really want to gamble, I would say go for Fuji Ryoga or Fuji Seiyun. I don't think they're going to have a good time, but they are debutantes, so they might. And then Keen Bozan, like I said, just in general, he has been very uninspired, very underwhelming. He has, 4 straight losing records. He needs to bounce back here, and his sumo is just not that spirited, So, I don't think Keen Bozan will fall to Judio, but he's not going to have a strong tournament. Now getting into these middle ranks, Maegashira 6 through 10, we have Ichiyamoto, Onokatsu, Oshoma, Hakuno Fuji. Don't pick Hakuno Fuji, he's fighting on a bum knee. Uda, Shodai, Toki Hayate, Tamawashi, Gonoyama, and Roga. Now here, there's no clear best answer, and there's no clear worst answer. This is the first time in a long time where the middle of the Banzuke truly is mid. Olga, he's not going to get 10 losses, but he's not going to get 10 wins. Shodai, he's been bouncing up and down for quite a while. Akano Fuji is injured. I wouldn't pick him. Uda clearly doesn't belong against the Sanyaku. He does well down here, but he still struggles against opponents that, have figured him out. Gonoyama, his one-dimensional sumo, works against the guys lower than this rank, but higher, he struggles. Toki Hayate, he's been getting better at his follow-up at the Tachi-ai. He is very fast at the Tachi-ai, but he's still not the strongest at the Tachi-ai, so it's not inspiring either. Ichi Yamamoto, we call him Budget Abi, but lately he's been looking better than Abi and has actually really made his style unique in the fact that he also has some Yotsuzumo under his belt. So Ichi Yamamoto, struggled at the last tournament, but he is occupying that Onosho-esque slot where Maegashira 6 he's too good for, Maegashira 2 he's not nearly good enough for. So Ichi Yamamoto might be the best pick here. I feel like he could bounce back. Across from him, Maegashira 6, we have Onokatsu. Onokatsu, he's kind of a question mark too, because look at this chart. 7-8, 7-8, 7-8. And 2 of those 7 were Fusen, were absences. He had 2 matches of break time, and then he still loses to Tobizaru. Like, man, you should have been rested up. You should have been good to go. Should have had that, plus 10% in your skills or something, but he fumbled it, man. He's 25 years old, though, so I feel like this could be a breakout tournament for him. It's going to be make or break. I feel like this is, shit or get off the pot. Win or fall. Stop being stuck at Maegashira 6 West. Come on. Let's see. Oshoma, the unusually popular guy. Oshoma, he is not nearly as good as Ichi Yamamoto in this spot, so I'm more and more leaning towards Ichi Yamamoto as the best possible guy to pick. But I'm also thinking about Shodai for the memes. Oshoma, he has just not been as good since that 3-12. Sure, he had that 9-6 to bounce back. 4-11, 7-8. He's staying at the same rank, but I just don't think the gentlemen moving up around him are going to give him any quarter. He started off strong, 5-0, but then losing to Churano Umi, Gonoyama, Atami Fuji, Tamawashi, who are all still in the neighborhood. Losing to Roga, who's still in the neighborhood. Daisho, who's still in the neighborhood. Asakoryu didn't move that far up, but that could be another possible opponent. Ryuden is down and out, so, who more difficult than Ryuden is going to stand in its way right there? Yoshino Fuji had to fight him. So, for Oshoma, this is another pressure point tournament. This is one where he needs to prove he can move up, and if he doesn't, it's going to be just another middling performance, I think. I'd also like to talk about Tamawashi, our boy, 41.5 years old almost. He's still going. he's chugging along. 5-10 at the last tournament. It's obvious he can't really hang at the top anymore, despite the fact that he had that 11-4 Jun Yusho, Maegashira 4 just last year. But recently, 6-9, 7-8, 5-10, fighting pretty much all the same guys. This should be a good refresher for him. This should be a good refresher tournament. If he can't hang with these guys who are, largely gentlemen that he has fought before and should know how to fight against, there isn't that much young blood he's going to be fighting against from Maegashira 9. Maybe he'll fight Fuji Seiyun. But other than that, even if he does fight Fuji Seiyun, his experience should get him the win there. I don't think Fuji Seiyun is going to outspeed or outpower him anyway. So I feel like Tamawashi should have a good bounce back tournament here. But see, all these matchups are measuring sticks. Kinda, yeah. Kinda. It's like there's no completely wrong answer in this section. There's no completely right answer in this section. Again, I think I'm leaning Ichi Yamamoto because he's been the most spirited out of all of these guys lately, and you know that kind of goes back to when me and Congo first started commentating sumo. He would be like, "Hold on, I won't choose who I think I'm gonna win. I need to see what they look like right now in the moment in the ring, and then choose who I think is gonna win based on how much spirit they have." And it's like kind of going back to that, where Ichi Yamamoto always seems the most spirited. He looks like he's having fun doing his sumo. He looks like he wants to be there. He wants to win more than anybody else in this section right here. So I think that's why I'm going to go with Ichi Yamamoto. Again, Shodai would be a nice meme pick because it's like, oh, haha, you know, my favorite Tobizaru, Kongo's favorite Shodai, Ichi Yamamoto. I'm gonna lean with him. I should open a comedy club. This next section, don't tell my wife I'm not gonna pick Takanosho, but you know who I'm gonna pick. My new favorite guy, Fujinokawa. I don't care. Scandalous Murph, thank you for your Prime subscription for 32 months. That's a long time. But here, another interesting group of gentlemen, Wakataka Kage, Yoshino Fuji, Fujinokawa, who went 2-8 against Onosato in practice. Fujinokawa defeated Onosato twice. Mark that down. Chura no Umi, Hira no Umi, Oho, Daisho, Takanosho, Abi, and Koto Shoho. Now, starting from the bottom here, it looks like, you know, the fact that there are no other injuries or anything, Koto Shoho and Abi likely won't be fighting the entire gauntlet of Sekitori. So, Abi should definitely have a good time this tournament. Koto Shoho, 50-50. You know, after his Yusho, I was really hoping that would give him the momentum he needed to really start to shine, but he has been consistently mid since then. Koto Shoho has not shown me any inspiring sumo. He's not completely dominant in any way that is impressive. He's just not inspiring at all. Abi, he's always a wild card, always a firecracker. You could expect him to do well this tournament. I did just say he would. But even lately, 5-10 from Maegashira 7, very unusual. I think he might have been fighting injured these two tournaments. 10-5 from Maegashira 12. He only lost on the back end against Koto Zakura, Atami Fuji, Kirishima. But, you know, even dropping these matches against Asanoyama, Koto Shoho, that shouldn't happen for Abi. I feel like he might have another good tournament here if he is shaken off an injury that I'm kind of conjuring in my mind that he may or may not have had late last year. And then when it comes to Takanosho and Daisho, both of these guys were Sekiwake. Daisho coming back from surgery, from injury, his climb back up has been slow. But 7-8, he went through the gauntlet and defeated Hoshoryu, which, that's kind of a freak win. He should not have beaten Hoshoryu, but he did. Got himself a Kinboshi. Then after that, finished the rest of the tournament strong. So, despite the fact that he had a losing record, you know, winning against Oshoma, Yoshino Fuji, Uda, Hakuno Fuji, all these guys are still in the neighborhood. He might still fight them anyway. Shishi probably not, but you know, you have to look at the consistency here. Wakataka Kage is kind of a toss-up. He always beats Uda. He mostly loses to Hoshoryu, mostly loses to Onosato, if he even fights against the gauntlet here. Tamawashi might be in his future. He loses to Tamawashi a lot of the time. So, Daisho, I feel like, is going to be a little bit more of a mystery this time around. Mita is still out, yes. It will be out for a while. I believe it was a ACL or MCL or something like that. Probably both. Takanosho, my wife's favorite. She forces me to pick him all the time. I'm not going to pick him here. 5-10 at the previous tournament. He's going to be fighting all the same guys. I mean, look at this. 5-10, 5-10. Another 5-10 is in the cards. Like, he's not as strong as he used to be. He's not as fast as he used to be. He still has that footwork problem. I have no confidence in him compared to some of these other guys. Oho and Hirado Umi at Maegashira 3. Let's pull both of these guys up. Hirado Umi is kind of a mystery to me because he has the spirit. He has the fire. But he doesn't have the strength to really carry that spirit to wins. That might sound strange, but you know what I'm saying. Going back to November, 4-11, you know, he loses to Takayasu. He beat Oho, who's near him again. It's 50-50 in that head-to-head. You know, kind of 50-50 against Takanosho, but loses to Hoshoryu, loses to Onosato, loses to Yoshino Fuji, loses to Kotozakura and Aonishiki. He does not have many winning matchups near the top here. So it's going to be difficult for him to find wins. And even if he can steal wins, that doesn't necessarily mean he'll win or steal any more wins. So Hirado Umi is not a very strong pick for me here. Oho, I've been waiting, Oho, for you to really come into your own. I've been hoping he could really come into his own. 2 Kinboshi under his belt, Sekiwake and Komusubi. Sekiwake is 7-8, that's fine, you know. Komusubi 4-11, that's not. Losing to people he usually beats in Hakuno Fuji, but losing to guys he usually loses to, Onosato, Wakataka Kage, stealing a win off of Aonishiki and Kirishima, but then losing to Okamoto Haru, Takayasu, he usually loses those matches, stole a win against Kotozakura, beat Ichi Yamamoto, but then, you know, some of these matches are toss-ups that he's losing. Some of these matchups that he wins are, like, he shouldn't be winning. Not, you know, a little bit against the odds there. And the people he beat, too. Aonishiki, Kirishima, another Ozeki Kotozakura. Like, if you told me someone in this tournament defeated both Ozeki and one of the Sekiwake, be like, wow, he must have done really well, right? Nope. 4-11. What happened? He's another guy that, I'm using the spirit argument a lot today, but he's another Rikishi that, you know, when I watch him fight, he doesn't have the same fire other guys have, you know? So I don't know if it's just he doesn't have that much confidence in himself to win these toss-up matches or to, like, steal more wins off of these bigger guys, but he didn't look like he was that insanely outmatched at the last tournament. But, you know, I don't really have confidence in him to get a winning record after such a dismal performance. Shurano Umi. Shurano Umi, 32 years old, from Okinawa. He's been bumping around the top of this top division. The last time he was this high, Maegashira 4 went 4-11. Again, 9-6 for Maegashira 5 West, but he didn't have to fight the gauntlet. You can see it right there. And even then, he defeated Takayasu 2-0 against Takayasu. So he's good against these middle ranks. You know, losing to Atami Fuji, losing to Hirado Umi. 50-50 against Oshoma. Almost 50-50 against Tamawashi. Somehow 6-0 against Daieisho. A lot of 50-50 matches that, you know, could have gone either way. But, now overall, Shurano Umi, he's one of those underrated guys. He's a guy that you kind of look over because he's not as exciting as Yoshino Fuji. He's not as popular as Takayasu, but he's strong. He has the technique, obviously, to stay up here. Shurano Umi, he could be a dark horse for this section. Fujinokawa, the guy I am choosing, because he is far and away the most interesting sumo wrestler on the Banzuke for me. He has so much speed and power. It's just a matter of keeping that energy through to the end of the match. Fujinokawa, he's lightning in a bottle. He is so much fun to watch. I love watching Fujinokawa, and whether or not he succeeds, I don't care. I'm going to pick him. He's probably not the best option to be picked in this section here, but I believe in him. I'm going to be rooting for him. I got his fan towel on my chair. I'm hoping Fujinokawa takes it to the bank. And then Yoshino Fuji and Wakataka Kage, who are probably the most solid picks you could have. Wakataka Kage, former Yusho winner, former Sekiwake. I mean, an 8-7 is easily in the cards for him. Yoshino Fuji, also interesting in how consistently good he is. 8-7, 2 Keen Boshi. He had to get that outstanding performance on the final day. But the fact that he gets 8-7, the fact that he had 2 Keen Boshi, and, he doesn't have a lot of matchups against these top dogs, but, the sample size is small enough that 1 and 2 is basically 50-50. 0 and 3 is the start of a bad trend, but he could find a way to win, 0 and 2 is the start of a bad trend, but he could find a way to beat Koto Zakura. He's 3 and 1 against Aonishiki, who got him on that day, but, he's so fresh to the top of the top division that I feel like once, usually it's if you have an unusual style, or if you're new to a certain part of the Banzuke, when you get figured out, you struggle. But I think Yoshino Fuji will thrive. Once he figures it out, he will thrive. And I feel like he's close to figuring it out. I feel like he could be Komusubi next tournament. So, if you want to go for solid picks, Wakataka Kage and Yoshino Fuji, probably going to go 8-7. Abi, probably a wild card pick here. Could go 10-5 if he does not fight the gauntlet. But if for whatever reason, Churano Umi out for injury, he has to fight the gauntlet, he'll go 5-10. And I feel like those are probably your only options if you want to try to win. Otherwise, you're picking your favorite, like I am. I'm picking Fujinokawa. He beat Onosato twice in practice out of 10 matches, But that's where I'm going to be putting my pick. Now, Sekiwake and Komusubi. Honestly, I'm surprised Takayasu has stuck around as well as he has. I'm surprised that he has not fallen yet. And it could be because his back is in order. 8-7, 8-7, that's perfectly reasonable. Even if he goes 7-8 this tournament, I would call that a win for him. I don't think he has another 10-5 in his back pocket. He's going to be fighting mostly the same gentleman. Another 8-7 could be in the cards for him. He is still strong. He's not slowing down just yet. He's still got it for now. Takayasu could be a good pick. Kirishima, this is where he blows it. This is absolutely where he blows it. 100% he's going to blow it. Look at this. 12-3 Jun Yusho, Sekiwake. Needs 13 wins, but at least get double digits. Nope, 6-9. Okay, coming back. 11-4, 8-7, 11-4. All right, just clean it up. 8-7, 6-9. Okay. 11-4, 11-4. He's going to blow it. He's going to blow it. Absolutely going to blow it. Granted, it's not like he's completely washed. He could get back to Ozeki. He absolutely could. And if we want to look at, his first week matchups here, as Maegashira 2, he fought through the most difficult part of the Banzuke. Aonishiki, Koto Zakura, Hoshoryu Onosato, came out the other end 1-3, and then finished strong. Then, as a Sekiwake, he fought, the weekend of it, still defeated Aonishiki, or rather, defeated Aonishiki for the first time, and then defeated Hoshoryu, lost to Kotozakura Onosato, so stumble a bit right there. And usually for Kirishima, when he stumbles, he trips and falls and slams his face into the ground. But he did not completely collapse. Defeated Shishi, Atami Fuji, and or lost to Atami Fuji, but defeated Abi to finish 11-4. Leo's gonna get served in a lawsuit for his negative vibes. It's gonna be my fault. Kirishima, I'm jinxing him right now. Or am I anti-jinxing him because I want him to get Ozeki? But this is perfect setup. It's perfect setup. He's absolutely gonna blow it. Look at this. He just needs another 11-win tournament. It's that easy. Just keep beating the same guys you've been beating. Come on. You can do it. Can't you? I mean, I hope he can do it, but I don't know. Then the two Komusubi, Wakamoto Haru and Atami Fuji. Wakamoto Haru, I mean, he's solid. He's never going to get less than 6 wins up here. Last time he did, it was because he was injured. And when's the last time he got a fighting double-digit losing score, 2019 from Judio. He's not going to get double-digit losses. Will he get a winning record? Possibly. He's solid enough. He obviously could. Stole a win against Onosato. But, you can never really count him out, You can never really count out Wakamoto Haru. He's not going to be a gangbuster. He's not going to knock down the door and go for a U-show. Look at this score. 9-6, 8-7, 8-7. He might just get another 8-7, honestly. That might be all you need. Atami Fuji making his debut at Komusubi after that 12-3 playoff loss. Another playoff loss for him. His second in his career. His 4th Jun Yusho in his young career. He's shaping up to be the next Takayasu in how many Jun Yusho he gets. At the very least, that means he's going to get Ozeki, right? Is this the start of an Ozeki run? Probably not, because Maegashira 4 usually is not taken into consideration. But if you want to consider who he was fighting against, down to Maegashira 7, but then defeated both Yokozuna. Lost to Aonishiki, but defeated Kirishima, who was surging. Lost to Aonishiki in that playoff. Didn't have to fight the Komusubi. Now, even if he loses to both Komusubi, if you replace the Maegashira 7 and 6 for 2 Komusubi, and he loses both those matches, that's still 10-5. This could be the start of the Atami Fuji era. We'll probably lose to Aonishiki, but look at this chart. That's the only guaranteed loss, really. Even Hirata Umi, it's 33% chance. And Hirata Umi is definitely going to be on the cards for him. Onosato, it's very smaller odds, but if you want to look at who he's going to be fighting, around him on the Banzuke, another 10-5 could be in the cards for Atami Fuji, honestly. As far as who I'm going to pick here, Atami Fuji seems like a very attractive option. And I don't want to pick Kirishima because I feel so strongly that he's going to blow it. The safe bet is obviously Wakamoto Haru, 8-7 or 7-8. I don't think he's going to get any better or any worse. Takayasu is probably the worst pick, and if Takayasu is the worst pick, you have a really good options. I don't think Takayasu's going to have a bad tournament either. I don't think any of these 4 gentlemen are going to have a bad tournament. 7 wins minimum out of any of these guys. It's really just who's going to have that 8th, who's going to have that 9th, who's going to have that 10th win. I know where you live. I'm trying not to insult Takayasu here. I'm saying he's going to have a good tournament. Kirishima 8-7. Worst pick, you could say not the best choice. I'm saying he's out of 4, he's number 4. But out of everybody else, he's like number 10. Come on. You know what I mean? It's like saying, oh, what's the best Black Sabbath album? It's like, well, there's a very clear, like, numbers 1 through 5. Out of, this best band of all time already. Aonishiki gonna make history, both Yokozuna defeated? Probably. What's the best Black Sabbath album? Yes. Exactly. Like, who's the best in this group? Yes. It's like, you pop up, you say like, oh yeah, I think Sabbath Blood is the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is the worst Black Sabbath album. It's like, okay, but it's still a good album. I just listened to it yesterday. Fantastic album. Takayasu is in the same vein. It's like, yeah, he's the worst in this group, but still gonna do great. This group is definitely the hardest to pick because, again, Wakamoto Haru, easily 7-8 wins. Takayasu, easily 7-8 wins. Atami Fuji, I feel like he's going to have that breakout. Kirishima, I feel like he's going to blow it, but, I really hope I'm wrong. I think I'm going to stick with Atami Fuji here. What Basho did I win? Let me double check. That was the tournament that Gideon was born. July of there it is, 2024. Look at these picks. Koto Zakura, Onosato, Tobizaru, Takanosho, Wacky Tacky. This was a wacky tournament because on the final day I was down by 1 point. And we shared 3 of the same picks. Hey, you got the Tochinoshin Cup in the mail? Very nice. Yeah, I'm going with the Tommy Food. And now, the end-all, be-all. Who is going to win out of the Ozeki and Yokozuna? It's Aonishiki. And these are my pick. No, but seriously, like, I always pick Koto Zakura because he was my favorite in this group. But let's be real. It's going to be Aonishiki. Like, barring a meteor hitting the stadium and killing Aonishiki, but sparing everybody else, it's going to be Aonishiki. 100%. Nephew and Onosato are hurt. Grandson is inconsistent. It's going to be Aonishiki. That's all you need to say. To give it a little bit more depth, again, Koto Zakura is definitely the worst pick here. He's going to get you 8 wins. He's going to get you those 8. Not going to get you any more. He's going to get you those 8. Onosato has been fighting hurt. Still 10-5 though. Hoshoryu, allegedly also fighting hurt. Still 10-5 though. They're getting those wins. If they are still hurt, it's clear for Aonishiki. If they're not hurt, he is 50-50. But really, like, everyone's going to be picking Aonishiki. Aonishiki is far and away so solid, so strong, so fast, so powerful, so spirited. He just has everything going for him. And it will take divine intervention to stop him from winning this tournament. Like, sure, if Hoshoryu and Onosato are healthy, 11 wins. Unhealthy, they still get 10. And really, if they're all at max strength, It's like ideally all three of these gentlemen are at 13-2 and they're going to be fighting in a playoff. And at that point, if they're all 13-2, then it doesn't matter who you pick. But because I think it's Aonishiki, because Hoshoryu and Onosato are hurting, because Kotozakura is so inconsistent, watch, this is going to be the one tournament Kotozakura pops off because I didn't pick him. That's how it goes. Aonishiki's going to go 14-1. Kotozakura is going to go 15-0. You know how it's going to go. Aonishiki still gets Yokozuna, but Kotozakura wins the cup. But no, for real, like, it's going to be Aonishiki. There really isn't any argument to be had. You can debate, you can split hairs, but knowing what we know right now is Aonishiki. There's nobody else but Aonishiki. Win by one or win by a dozen, a win is a win. Exactly. So these are going to be my picks for Kachi-clash. Don't tell my wife I'm not picking Takanosho. Aonishiki, Atami Fuji, Fujinokawa, Ichi Yamamoto, and Tobizaru. If you want to win it all, your picks are likely going to be Aonishiki, Atami Fuji, I would say Yoshino Fuji or Abi. Wagataka Kage, Yoshino Fuji, or Abi are going to be your pick in this section. Ichi Yamamoto or Tamawashi in this section. Uda, if you're feeling frisky. And then down here, Maegashira 11 through 17. Likely Asanoyama. I think Shishi's going to break through that ceiling. But everybody else here kind of belongs here. So that is going to be it for this as we head into the actual schedule proper. After this, I will be ending it on the YouTube side, but staying live over on the Twitch side so we can watch the ring purification ceremony and some sumo training videos. I can't do it over on the YouTube side because then I'll get copyright struck before the tournament even starts. So after we talk about the schedule a little bit, we will move into Twitch only. So we have the big matches are going to be Hoshoryu Atami Fuji. Atami Fuji 6-4 in the head-to-head. Wakataka versus Onosato. Aonishiki Wakamoto Haru. Yoshino Fuji Kotozakura. Kirishima Fujinokawa. I am very looking forward to that matchup. Kirishima Fujinokawa should be electric and should set the tone for who has the better tournament coming into Haru. Churano Umi Takayasu to round out the Sanyaku ranks. And as far as any other interesting matchups go, they're just fighting across each other on the Banzuke until we get to the very bottom because Midori Fuji is out due to his heart. We have Asahakuryu Takayumi, Fuji Ryoga Kinbozan, and then Ryuden visiting from Judeo versus Koeho, which means Himukamaru is visiting down in that third division. Himukamaru was in Judeo, went 5-10, trying to bounce back. Day 2. Atami Fuji Onosato. Hoshoryu Wakataka Kage. Great rivalry matchup right there. Wakamoto Haru Kotozakura. Aonishiki Yoshino Fuji. Will Aonishiki struggle? This match will definitely set the tone for if Aonishiki wins it all or not. Fujinokawa Takayasu. Another incredible matchup I'm looking forward to. Fujinokawa's spirit versus Takayasu's experience. That's going to be great. Kirishima Churano Umi. And then, of course, still kind of fighting across the Banzuke. Maegashira 4 West versus 3 West, 3 East, 4 East, so on and so forth. Sada no Umi will be the one visiting versus Fuji. So like I said, that will be it over here. On the YouTube side, we will be moving over to the Twitch side to watch the ring purification ceremony and pull up some training videos while we wind down, while we chill. Because right now, Gideon is being babysat. So I don't have to worry about waking up at 6 a.m. So we'll be watching some of these training videos as well. So for those of you on the YouTube side, thank you very much for watching. We will catch you cats tomorrow. Same time, same place. Same sumo. Except we won't have Congo for day 1 or day 7 because he is in Hokkaido right now. Unfortunately, it is too early to see the flower fields, so he is enjoying the winter sights over in Hokkaido. We will catch you cats later.